Hi guys, welcome to a new session of Percy Jackson Read Aloud. Last time we were at a point where Grover, Annabeth, and Percy were about to head on the quest. They can't fly by airplane because that would mean they would access Zeus's area. And when they are in the train station, on the bus station, Percy starts thinking that maybe he could have done more to save his mom. And Grover somehow is able to sense this and tells Percy about why his mom married Smelly Gabe. It turns out that the smell Smelly Gabe has was a shield to protect Percy against gods and other bad creatures out there. So I'm going to read maybe a couple of sentences from the ones that I read before, and I'm going to continue. Your mom stayed with him to protect you. She was a smart lady. She must have loved you a lot to put up with that guy if that makes you feel any better. It didn't. But I forced myself not to show it. I'll see her again, I thought. She isn't gone. I wondered if Grover could still read my emotions, mixed up as they were. I was glad he and Annabeth were with me, but I felt guilty I hadn't been straight with them. I hadn't told them the real reason I'd said yes to this crazy quest. The truth was, I didn't care about retrieving Zeus's lightning bolt, or saving the world, or even helping my father out of trouble. The more I thought about it, I resented Poseidon for never visiting me, never helping my mom, never ever sending a lousy child support check. He'd only claimed me because he needed a job done. All I cared about was my mom. Hades had taken her unfairly, and Hades was going to give her back. You will be betrayed by one who calls you a friend, the oracle whispered in my mind. You will fail to save what matters the most in the end. Shut up, I told the voice. The rain kept coming down. We got restless waiting for the bus and decided to play some hacky sack with one of Grover's apples. Hacky sack is a game that you supposedly play with a little knitted ball that has tiny little balls inside. It's like this size, and you're not supposed to let it hit the ground, and you're kicking it upwards with your feet, and you pass it along different people. Annabeth was unbelievable. She could bounce the apple off her knee, her elbow, her shoulder, whatever. I wasn't too bad myself. The game ended when I tossed the apple toward Grover, and it got too close to his mouth. In one mega goat's bite, our hacky sack disappeared. Core, stem, and all. Grover blushed. He tried to apologize, but Annabeth and I were too busy cracking up, so they found it funny. Finally, the bus came. As we stood in line to board, Grover started looking around, sniffing the air like he smelled his favorite school cafeteria delicacy, enchiladas. Cinco de Mayo. What is it? I asked. I don't know, he said tensely. Maybe it's nothing. But I could tell it wasn't nothing. I started looking over my shoulder, too. I was relieved when we finally got on board and found seats together in the back of the bus. We stowed our backpacks. Annabeth kept slapping her Yankees cap nervously against her thigh. As the last passengers got on, Annabeth clamped her hand onto my knee. Percy. An old lady had just boarded the bus. She wore a crumpled velvet dress, lace gloves, and a shapeless orange knit hat that shadowed her face. And she carried a big paisley purse. When she tilted her head up, her black eyes glittered, and my heart skipped a beat. It was Mrs. Dodds. Older, more withered, but definitely the same evil face. I scrunched down in my seat. Behind her came two more old ladies. One in a green hat and one in a purple hat. Otherwise, they looked exactly like Mrs. Dodds. Same gnarled hands, paisley handbags, wrinkled velvet dresses. Triplet demon grandmothers. They sat in the front row, right behind the driver. The two on the aisle crossed their legs over the walkway, making an X. It was casual enough, but it sent a clear message. Nobody leaves. The bus pulled out of the station, and we headed through the slick streets of Manhattan. She didn't stay dead long, I said, trying to keep my voice from quivering. I thought you said they would be dispelled for a lifetime. I said, if you're lucky, Annabeth said. You're obviously not. All three of them, Grover whimpered. The immortals. It's okay, Annabeth said, obviously thinking hard. The Furies, the three worst monsters from the underworld? No problem, no problem. We'll just slip out of the window. They don't open, Grover moaned. A back exit? She suggested. There wasn't one. Even if there had been, it wouldn't have helped. By the time we were on 9th Avenue, heading for the Lincoln Tunnel. They won't attack us with witnesses around, I said, will they? Mortals don't have a good eye, Annabeth reminded them. Their brains can only process what they see through the mist. They'll see three old ladies killing us, won't they? She thought about it. It's hard to say, but we can't count on mortals for help. Maybe an emergency exit on the roof? We hit the Lincoln Tunnel, and the bus went dark, except for the running lights down the aisle. It was eerie quiet without the sound of the rain. Mrs. Dodds got up. In a flat voice, as if she'd rehearsed it, she announced to the whole bus, I need to use the restroom. So do I, said the second sister. So do I, said the third sister. They all started coming down the aisle. I've got it, Annabeth said. Percy, take my hat. What? You're the one that they want. Turn invisible and go up the aisle. Let them pass you. Maybe you can get to the front and get away. But you guys, there's an outside chance they might not notice us, Annabeth said. You're a son of the big three. Your smell might be overpowering. I can't just leave you. Don't worry about us, Grover said. Go! My hands trembled. I felt like a coward, but I took the Yankees cap and I put it on. When I looked down, my body wasn't there anymore. I started creeping up the aisle. I managed to get up 10 rows, then duck in an empty seat just as the Furies walked past. Mrs. Dodds stopped, sniffing and looking straight at me. My heart was pounding. Apparently, she didn't see anything. She and her sisters kept going. I was free. I made it to the front of the bus. We were almost through the Lincoln Tunnel now. I was about to press the emergency stop button when I heard hideous wailing from the back row. The old ladies were not old ladies anymore. Their faces were still the same. I guess you couldn't get uglier. But their bodies had shriveled into leathery brown hag bodies with bat wings and hands and feet like gargoyle claws. Their handbags had turned into fiery whips. The Furies surrounded Grover and Annabeth, lashing their whips, hissing, Where is it? Where? The other people on the bus were screaming, cowering in their seats. They saw something all right. He's not here, Annabeth yelled. He's gone. The Furies raised their whips. Annabeth drew her bronze knife. Grover grabbed a tin can from his snack bag and prepared to throw it. What I did next was so impulsive and dangerous, I should have been named ADHD Poster Child of the Year. Okay, guys, I'm gonna pause now to create a new video and just to wait to see if Choo-Choo stops her barking. Right on track.